Right, hi, we're going to do food today because I've just had a long conversation with my bestie about it and she was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. So let's go through it, what food is in terms of energy and light. So we come from collective consciousness, pure data, light, God, and we obviously have our feminine aspect, which is always connected to collective light. And we have our masculine aspect, which interacts. Wait a minute, that was not working. Brand new, God's sake. Which interacts with our external environment. Okay, so we know that, right? Now, we don't actually, if we were in our highest state of being, we don't actually require any outside source of energy. And food is just energy. And energy is just light. Okay? So, if we are connected, this is how monks and stuff can sit for years and not require any food or resource, because they're getting all their resources from collective light. But we're not all perfect monks and we can't just sit in a state of pure perfection. We've got to live in this matrix. Or the material or the Maya, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So we come in and we've got this internal energetic structure. The masculine and the feminine, when they're oscillating together in balance, they can pull as much light energy that they require. But when they fall out of balance, which they often are because we live in a matrix that is full of corrupted data, we require more energy. Okay, so we get hungry. I get hungry. You get hungry. Okay, so and what we're really hungry for is energy or light. Everything's energy, and what we're doing when we ingest food, when we ingest food, is we're just taking on energy or light that we have a deficit for in our being. Okay, so what is food? So food is energy or light. Now, what we're eating is light, or that's what we should be eating. Okay, and the only thing that holds light, the matrix holds light, but the only thing that contains pure light is another living being. So let's say this is a grass-fed, naturally raised cow. Okay, now that cow has the same thing we've got, it's just in a different format. And the cow doesn't experience polarity, so it's usually all in balance. So this cow, our cow, is pure light. If it's grass-fed, it lives in a field, it hasn't been corrupted by our human ways of being, and it's come straight from nature, that cow is filled with light. And when we consume it, when we eat that cow, we gain the light that was contained within it. Okay? So ideally, we could say a plant as well. A plant has the same structure. We didn't create that plant, nature did, and that plant contains pure light. And when we consume it, we contain the light that it once contained. So what we're looking to do when we're eating food is to eat living beings. Now that living being could be an insect, it could be a cow, it could be anything in nature that is alive. So something that is alive. All the things that are alive contain light. And when we eat those, when we consume them, we are then consuming that light, and that portion of light is added to our own. Now, so ideally, we should only be eating things that are alive, because there's no point eating something dead. not that we should eat the cow live, but we would hope to eat it while there's still life in the flesh. Okay, so once something goes bad and it starts to deteriorate, and it grows mold and it becomes is lifeless, when we eat it, we're just eating distortion. So I saw a wonderful podcast. It was many years ago, and it was on the Leak Project with Max Bear and Rex Bear, and I absolutely loved it. It was a guy who had a box. I can't remember what the box was, but basically it showed you what light photons within certain structures. So basically, he had this box, and inside it he put like a steak. You'll have to go watch it. I can't find it exactly, or I'd link it below. If I can, I'll link it. But he put, say, a steak in there. Okay? And now when we're looking through this, we can only see the light that's contained in the object within. We can't see its material vessel. We just see what's in there. So he put a steak in it, and it was dull light. It was like a dull, glowing light, okay? And then he put, say, a chocolate bar or something in there, and it was completely devoid of light. It was just black. And then he put an apple in there. And the apple, which obviously is the same structure as us, and an apple is alive because it was given life by that tree and it came from nature. The apple was just bursting with light. And that's why apples are in the Bible, I would presume, because the apple is filled with light. Now, in our current matrix, we forget that we're hoping to eat light. So we're messing around with the composition of apples to make them last longer. We're messing around with the food chain because we want to make it easier for us to consume. We've become consumers, and we no longer only consume living beings filled with light. Now we consume things that are made in the matrix. And every time we process something, or we overproduce, or if we have that cow and it's filled with light in its natural state, if we start farming it and we farm in a nice way where the cow's happy and it's getting the food that it requires, it's got more light. But if we were to keep that cow in a small cage, terrify it, do horrible things to it, that cow its light content begins to drop. And then when we consume it, it doesn't contain as much light. So what we're doing when we're eating is we're eating another being, meaning that another light structure, something that contains light naturally. Now, we don't only eat living beings. This morning, I could have eaten some cereal. Okay, now that cereal was once made of light because it might have been wheat or corn or something like that, but it's been mass produced in a factory. And every time we do something to it, i.e. we cut it up, we process it, we pasteurize it, whatever we're doing reduces the light. And however long it takes to get to us, the light is getting less and less and less and less. So you can think of it in a way of processed food. So if your food doesn't go off, it doesn't contain light. Okay, because what is going off is just the deterioration of something that's living, that's something that's alive. And when I leave an apple when I pick an apple from a tree, yes, it will contain that light for a little while. It'll sit on my worktop. And when I take a bite out of it, it will go brown because it's started to deteriorate. And what's deteriorating in it is the amount of light it holds. It starts to die. It's no longer a living being. Okay? So ideally, we want things as fresh as possible. Okay? Now it might be, and I don't just eat things that contain light, even though I know this. I have lots of tinned stuff, packet stuff that's in there, in the kitchen behind you, that doesn't contain any light, and I eat it for comfort. And I think I've talked about this before, because I just remembered talking about macaroni cheese. It's my favourite. But food is just energy or light. And if we're not eating a living being, we're just eating light that has been reinforced by a person. So say I eat a chocolate bar. Chocolate. Now that chocolate might contain cocoa, which is light because it's a plant that's grown. However, it's been so produced, or it's been so processed over time, and it might take 4 years or so. I don't know how long chocolate takes to get to me, but by the time I'm eating that chocolate, the light in it's dead because it's not going off. That chocolate bar can sit for years and not go off. And our matrix wants things not to go off because the conglomerates that own it, and obviously ourselves as well, we want to be able to take as long as possible to eat that. And what happens when we eat something that was mass produced, when we, I don't know, right, say a Twinkie. We don't really have Twinkies here, but I can't remember. It's on a film or something, like it was the last thing left in the world was a Twinkie because they don't go off for like 30 years. Was it like Wally or something? I don't know. But let's take a Twinkie, for example. It doesn't go off, even though it seems like a food item, a foodstuff. It's not. It's no different from this whiteboard. I can eat this whiteboard, or I can eat a leather shoe. I could. I'm not going to, but I could. And because that leather shoe was once a cow, I can pretend to myself that it's food, but it's not food. It's not giving me any light. I am just consuming it. Consumption. When we consume something, that's distortion. So distortion is basically compacted light. So when my Twinkie's being produced, somebody's making it. Somebody is putting it into the factory, somebody's packaging it, somebody's boxing it. And all those people who are involved in that process are giving that Twinkie their light. Okay? So it's a structure that has been made by humanity. And so it's compacted light filled with distortion, but it doesn't hold any actual life force. There's no life force in my Twinkie. So when I eat it, my masculine aspect, which is the intellectual part of us, intellectual, imagine not being able to spell intellectual, the intellectual part of us says we're eating food because the Matrix has told us that is food and that we can eat it. And the Matrix has told us that cereal is good for you. And the Matrix has told us that, that it's healthy because the FDA says that it's healthy for you. But it's not healthy for you because it doesn't contain any light. It's not living. We can't get life from something that isn't living. So when I eat that Twinkie, it makes me feel full, but what am I being filled with? I'm being filled with distortion. And that's basically like when you become overweight, it's not because you might not be eating a lot. You might be like, why am I fat when I'm not eating a lot? This thing says that it's healthy. This, one second. Can't remember where I was because my daughter's trying to show me something on Minecraft, so I'm gonna have to go and join Minecraft here and play with the girls. But the point is, the masculine intellectual mind lives in this matrix, and the matrix tells us that certain things are healthy and that we should eat them, because the company that created it wants us to buy it. Okay, so it wants us to buy it. And it tells us that a battery farmed hen is fine. And although that battery farmed hen contains light, it contains very little light. It still contains the same light it would have, but it also contains all this distortion from all the pain and suffering and unnatural corruption that we have caused it as humans in our manufacturing process. So when we eat this battery farmed hen, we could see this as a clean hen that was grass fed or whatever hens are supposed to eat. We could see this as a fully functional animal living in the state it was designed, eating what it was designed to eat, living a happy life. Okay, because what is happiness? Happiness for anything is just a fast oscillation. And the faster we oscillate, the higher the frequency, the more light that thing contains. So if we've got this happy hen over here, this happy hen that's lived a wonderful life, okay, in its own little hen way, contains a lot of light. Now, if I eat this battery farmed hen that's skinny, it's sick, it's been pumped full of drugs to keep it healthy because it's living in squalor and disgusting, it's eating its friends because it's starving to death, that thing is containing a whole host of distortion. Now, when I eat this one, you can see that it's clean. It's a clean living being that I'm consuming. So the energy and light that I'm getting from this is far more than this battery hen that's been terrorized, filled with drugs, eating unnatural food, pecking at its dead brother. It's fucking miserable. Okay? And when I consume that, I'm still consuming this light, but I'm also consuming the distortion. And as human beings, we're extremely powerful. Nearly everything in our environment is unnatural. Everything. We live in concrete houses. We eat food that we should not. We live in ways that is just not natural to us. And so we gather a lot of distortion. But we are so powerful. One second. Had to get all grumpy mum there because they're all shouting and screaming because they won't be playing Minecraft. Right, so when we eat this hen, we contain that distortion. Okay, and when we are eating Twinkies and stuff like that, or anything that isn't alive, we take on the distortion that was in that product. And this product is all distortion. It's just compact distortion, and the only life in it is given to it by the person who's producing it. And even worse, if there's not any people involved in its production and it's just factory produced, no light's going into it whatsoever. And when we eat it, it's just a big block of distortion. Now, what was I saying there? We're so powerful. We are such powerful beings that even though we live in this unnatural way and we live in these concrete boxes and we do all this stuff and we live in these cities full of pollutants and terrible things that are just not natural to us, we're not the happy hen, we're the battery hen. But we're so powerful that as soon as we put this in balance, fuck's sake. Soon as we get in balance, we basically blow out this distortion. So we can eat whatever the hell we want. We can eat McDonald's every day. You know the videos where they've got like a 40-year-old McDonald's and it's still pristine? That's because it's made of distortion. It no longer carries the life that will die and mold and decay because it's only distortion. So when we're eating all this distortion, it just makes our system work harder to oscillate because we've got to oscillate past this distortion. We've basically got to blow it out of our system. Okay, so the food is light. Okay, food is just light. And you can look at whatever in our environment. The Matrix is going to tell you. The Matrix is going to tell you. Oh no, I've ruined my pink pen. The Matrix is going to tell you whatever the person at the top wants you to know. Because that's the person that's feeding everything else. It's not one person, of course. But if you've got a huge company, huge, that owns half of the Matrix, and it wants you to buy something, it's going to upsell it to you. It's going to use certain colours in the supermarket. It's going to put stuff at a certain eye level. It's going to advertise. So marketing is lies. If you need something to live, you don't have to market it. If it's beneficial, you don't have to spend money marketing it. The cows aren't doing campaigns to tell you to eat them. Fucking course they aren't. But Cadbury's will do a campaign. No, I'm not calling it like Cadbury's is nice. I eat a lot of it. But they have to market because what they're selling you is not food. It's distortion. So when you're eating something, if you're trying to lose weight, like I don't have that problem because I don't have that distorted belief within me. I understand what food is. Now, it doesn't mean that I eat really good food all the time. But when I'm eating something shit, I don't hate myself for it. Now, if you're overweight and you're eating something, even if it's an apple and it's filled with light, if you are hating yourself while you're consuming it, and you're going, I shouldn't be eating this because I'm too fat. I shouldn't be doing this because I'm too fat. I shouldn't be enjoying this because I'm too fat. Or you're like, oh, I'll enjoy it really quietly in the corner because I shouldn't be eating this. You're basically adding your own distortion, whether that thing's filled with light or not. Okay, so the worst thing we can do, the worst thing we can do is hate on ourselves for eating stuff. Hate itself is a distortion. So when you hate on yourself for eating something, God, that's even worse. Now, I eat McDonald's, I eat Cadbury's, and these are huge corporations. And it's not that they're producing this stuff trying to hurt you, but what they're doing is just trying to make their own process a little easier. They're trying to make sure that BAP just lives that little bit longer. They're trying to make sure those potato fries that were once a potato and alive just hold that little bit longer. And really, if we're consuming light, it should be going off pretty much immediately. Okay, so when you're eating food, just remember that food means light. And ask yourself, is this thing that I'm eating living? Does it contain light? Or is it just manufactured distortion that I am consuming? And if I do consume that, I'm going to have to exercise or I'm going to have to do something to blow that distortion out. If you're in a high vibration, you can eat fucking rocks. You're still going to be fine because you are so powerful that you turn things into light. Okay? But if you are hating yourself for eating it and you hate the product and you hate the company, but you're still sitting there eating it, you're just consuming distortion. So think about food. Food means light. Food is light that we are consuming. And if it's not light, what is it? Distortion. Because there's only two things. Everything is light. Everything living contains light. Everything that isn't living is light, distorted and compacted. And you are consuming that. And when you are eating animals, there's no point eating them if they don't contain any light, or if they contain so much distortion that the light, the energy that we would have got from them is devoid because there's so much distortion in there, and pain and suffering, because that's basically what it is, that we're going to have to work harder to even get that light than we would have. So the point of buying organic products is to ensure that what we're eating, that chicken, isn't full of distortion. It's lived a good life as a chicken should live. It's reached a ripe old age. It has, or it's reached maturity. It has been fed what nature intended it to eat. It has lived outside among nature. Because what happens to us when we go outside and we stand on the grass? We oscillate faster. Everything living needs a natural environment. It's designed to live in its natural environment. As soon as we take the hens out of the coop in the garden or the farm and we put them in a factory, That's my factory in the smoke. And there's thousands of them living on the floor. You've seen the videos. Living on the floor, eating their brothers and sisters. Fucking getting pumped full of drugs because they're not eating the right food. And they've all got mad hormones. And because the hormones are fear. Fear is a hormone that will sit in that chicken's flesh. And as soon as you eat it, you're ingesting all that pain, suffering, and distortion. And we wonder why we're sick. So when you are looking at food, look at light. Start looking at your food as light, not as something you're just consuming. Did it ever contain light? Was it ever naturally grown? Is it alive? And if it is alive, what kind of life have we given it? Because it's fine, like I'm not a vegetarian, obviously. My favourite food is like steak and mac. But if I'm eating a grass-fed, happy cow, I'm getting loads of light from that. But if I'm eating a cow that has been abused beyond recognition, it's our job. Like we're eating these animals and they do gain something from us. Their life cycle becomes faster because there's more of them. More of them. And light expands. So we, by eating animals and plants, are aiding in their evolution. Okay? Because every new thing that comes in contains more light. Okay? But the food chain, because we're sitting at basically the top of it, it is our job to ensure the health and safety of the things below us. Not just for them. I'm not campaigning for chickens here. I'm not like, oh God, the chickens. Even though I do feel that way. We need to do that because it's productive for ourselves. What are we eating? When you're looking at your food and you're looking at your dinner, what are you eating? Are you eating light that's going to replenish your system and add to the light that you contain? Or are we eating straight distortion from a packet that we could eat next year and it's going to be fine? Okay, so don't mean to waffle, but And if you are eating and you feel like you're too fat or something, enjoy your food. Be in love while you eat it. Don't hate yourself while you eat it. Okay, lots of love and hugs. Sorry I waffled again. Bye.